My mother-in-law dragged me to my parents' house and screamed, "I'm returning your useless daughter." But what happened next, she never saw coming. My name is Sakura. I've been married for just over a year, desperately trying to win my mother-in-law's approval. But everything I did was for nothing. One day, she approached me with the coldest stare. "I'm giving you back," she said flatly. "What? Return me." I was completely confused. Before I could even process what was happening, she dragged me to my parents' house. We lived just minutes away from each other. When we arrived, she shouted at the front door, "Hey, come out here." My father rushed outside immediately. "Can I help you?" he asked politely. "I need to talk to you," my mother-in-law replied coldly. "Let's talk inside then," Dad offered with a smile. She shook her head. "We can talk right here. I'm only here to return your useless daughter." Useless daughter? My father's expression darkened instantly. His eyes locked onto hers. "What do you mean by that?" "Exactly what I said. Don't you get it? A wife who only makes $500 a month is defective. Faulty merchandise. Defective." My father's face twisted with rage. I'd never seen him this angry. But my mother-in-law kept going, completely oblivious to his fury. "She can't do anything around the house properly, and she barely makes any money. She's worthless. So you want to return her?" Dad's voice was dangerously quiet. When my mother heard the commotion, she came outside too. My mother-in-law didn't even glance at her. "That's right. I'm returning such a wife. The parents should take responsibility." My father looked at my mother. They both nodded grimly. "I see. I understand completely," Dad replied. "Then we have no choice. We'll take responsibility and close the company." "Yes, we need to accept responsibility and shut down the business," Mom added firmly. My mother-in-law's jaw dropped. "Wait, what? You're closing what business?" "You're asking us to take responsibility for our company's product." "What else could we be talking about?" Dad stated flatly. I couldn't help but sigh. When my father got this serious, there was no stopping him. He always followed through on his promises, no matter how difficult. Especially when it came to me. You see, my father has always been incredibly protective of me. And there's a reason for that. From childhood, I was extremely frail. The slightest upset would send me to bed with a fever for weeks. I missed most of elementary school because of this. I couldn't play with friends like other kids. My parents would stay by my bedside constantly. Dad couldn't focus on work whenever I got sick. Maybe because I was so fragile, they loved me even more than usual. Being weak wasn't entirely bad, though. My parents bought me everything to keep me entertained while bedridden. Books, video games, and most importantly, a laptop. It was Dad's old work computer. Not much for a normal person, but for an elementary school kid, it opened up entire new worlds. I could draw pictures, play games, connect to the internet. Lying in bed all the time, that computer became my gateway to everything. I thought, maybe I can create my own world here. That's how I fell in love with computers. Started with simple drawings, then moved to computer graphics. Eventually, I became fascinated with 3D illustration. After high school, I started working as a freelance graphic designer from home. It was perfect for my health condition. The beginning was rough. I was self-taught with no formal training. Finding clients was nearly impossible. But I persisted. 5 years later, my work finally gained recognition. People started approaching me regularly. That's when Dad came to me with a proposal. "Want to create a commercial for a construction company?" he asked. It was unexpected. Dad owned a local construction company with just 3 employees. Him, Mom, and my brother. Small but well known in the neighborhood. "Are you sure you want me? If it's a real job, I should be paid properly," I said, wanting to be clear. "I'm not asking because you're my daughter. I'm asking because you have excellent advertising taste," he replied. Those words meant everything to me. I felt truly recognized. My design became a newspaper insert ad. I also built a website for the company. Locals started approaching me, saying they'd seen my work. Some even complimented it directly. I couldn't stop smiling. Such recognition made me incredibly happy. My posters went up at the company entrance and community bulletin boards. I thought, I can stand on my own feet. I can live independently. Soon, rumors spread around town The construction company owner's daughter is a designer. She creates their advertisements. Then one day, someone came to see me. The local electrician. Your daughter's a designer, right? Can she create our advertisements? He asked Dad. I'll ask Sakura about it, Dad replied casually. This electrician was actually one of our business partners. They handled electrical work for our remodeling projects. So Sakura, can you do it? Dad asked. Understanding they were important partners, I accepted. Later, when Dad delivered the finished advertisement, it exceeded everyone's expectations. The electrician was thrilled. But it wasn't the electrician who came to thank me personally. It was a young man who bowed gratefully with a gift. I just wanted to thank you for the wonderful work, he said. Who are you? I asked. Oh, I'm Hiroshi. My father's the electrician. He was a college graduate helping with the family business. So you'll eventually become an electrician too? I asked. Eventually I plan to take over the business, Hiroshi replied. Then we might be friends for a long time, I said. Yes, I'd like that. Especially with someone as attractive as you, he added with a smile. What? Me? I was shocked. Having rarely attended school and never been in a relationship, could it be that I was being flirted with? My face turned bright red, and I looked down like a child. We only exchanged personal contact information that day. Not business contacts, but our personal details. I'd never done anything like this before. I was so nervous I couldn't sleep that night. After that, Hiroshi and I kept in touch constantly. Between work, we'd share daily events, hobbies, favorite things. It became our routine. Eventually, we started dating. But we couldn't do normal couple things. First, I was too frail for long trips. We could only visit the neighborhood park when I felt well. We never went to movies or typical dates. Also, our schedules never matched. While I could take time off freely as a freelancer, Hiroshi couldn't. Even on days off, he often got urgent repair calls. Summer and winter were especially busy with air conditioner installations. Despite this, I didn't mind at all. We could always keep in touch through our phones. Being bedridden with fevers so often, this was normal for me. We nurtured our love this way and got married a few years later. I moved into Hiroshi's family home. His parents knew me well, so my mother-in-law initially said, "Just handle whatever housework you can manage. Nothing too strenuous." "I understand," I replied. My father-in-law was kind too. "When you have time, could you make some advertising flyers for us?" "I'll take care of it," I responded. "Thank you so much," he said. I thought I was getting along well with my in-laws. But that was only the beginning. Gradually, my mother-in-law started asking for more and more. "I'll be out of town for a while. Can you watch the store for me?" "Sure, but I'm working too," I said. "Just stay at the counter. You can work there with your laptop, right?" "If you don't mind me bringing my laptop, I'll handle it." "I don't mind at all." This way, my mother-in-law began asking me to watch the store more frequently. My father-in-law also started making requests. "Could you make a website for the store?" "What? I'm not really an expert at that," I replied. "Just something simple, please." Website creation wasn't my specialty, but my father-in-law pressured me into building one for the electronics company. After that, my in-laws found every opportunity to ask me for favors. One thing after another. Eventually, my mother-in-law said, "Sorry, but could you handle the cleaning for me?" "What? I have my own work too," I protested. "What are you talking about? You're the wife. Can't you at least do that much?" Yes, I replied reluctantly. Once I took on cleaning, there was no backing down. After cleaning came cooking, then laundry. The housework gradually increased. I was also made to watch the store constantly. I couldn't focus on my graphic design work. I had no choice but to cut back on all my projects. Naturally, my income decreased. But since I was married and Hiroshi covered living expenses, I wasn't too worried. But that wasn't the real problem. "I think I have a fever today," I said. I was so exhausted I finally caught a fever. I told my mother-in-law, "I'm sorry, but I need to rest for a while." She wasn't happy. "I can't believe you'd get a fever over something like this." But then she added, "Oh yes, I understand. Just go back to bed." She said this dismissively and quickly left the room. "Ha! I might have offended her," I thought regretfully. But my body truly wasn't listening to me. After a while, Hiroshi came in. Are you okay? Yes, I'm sorry, I replied. Don't be so hard on yourself. I know, but your parents. I told Hiroshi how his parents had forced me to do all these chores. Hiroshi looked at me suspiciously. Why don't you just say no? But what are you talking about? You're an adult. You should at least express your opinion. Hiroshi didn't understand anything. If this were a proper job, I would definitely refuse. But these were my in-laws. If I rejected my mother-in-law, it might cause problems later. Same with my father-in-law. If I complained and he hated me, he might demand a divorce. I know it's probably just me overthinking, but I can't help worrying about it. This is why I couldn't disobey my in-laws. Beyond that, I was heartbroken that Hiroshi didn't understand me. I couldn't believe even he didn't get it. I was completely alone in my in-laws' house. Thinking about that, I started crying. But this kind of thing was quite common. I mustn't give up, I told myself. After the fever subsided, my mother-in-law again asked me to run errands. I reduced my own workload and complied as much as possible. This way, I tried to win my parents-in-law's favor. Then one day, my mother-in-law suddenly asked, Sakura, how's your work going? Well, I'm continuing little by little, I replied. How much money do you earn now? Huh, that's none of your business, is it? I answered sharply. It does matter. Prices have been rising lately, and if you could contribute some money for living expenses, she said with a grin. As far as I could see, the electrician business hadn't declined. With rising prices, more people were seeking energy-efficient appliances. Jobs like air conditioner installation were actually increasing. We were sometimes asked by major electronics retailers for support. If anything, their income should be growing. But my mother-in-law hinted they didn't have enough money to make ends meet. Feeling suspicious, I told her a smaller amount. My income is also tight. Plus I have housework, so right now my monthly income is about $500. What? $500? She gasped. Yes, $500 a month isn't bad if you think of it as part-time work, I repeated. My mother-in-law's face suddenly turned red. Only $500? And you don't even do much housework, she said indignantly. I think I do a fair amount of housework. Her accusations were completely unfounded. I did all the cooking and cleaning these days. I even managed the store and handled laundry when she wasn't around. As I was thinking this, my mother-in-law said, Wait a minute. I'll go talk to your father. She ran to my father-in-law. A few minutes later, she came back with him. Come with me, she demanded. What? Where? Your parents' house. My house. I marveled. I'm returning you, my mother-in-law declared. And that's how I was forcibly taken to my parents' house, where she announced in front of my father that I was being returned. In response, Dad simply said he was going to close his own company. While I was dreading what to do, my mother-in-law smiled smugly. You want to close your company? You mean your construction company? Is that what you're talking about? She was trying to clarify. Yes, there's no other company for me, my father responded with a thin smile. My father-in-law sighed. You're going to destroy the construction company and eliminate our electrician business, aren't you? If that's the case, what then? Dad replied. I'm sorry, but we have other clients besides you, my father-in-law continued. There are tons of electrician jobs out there. Then it's fine for me to take responsibility for my daughter and shut down my construction company, isn't it? My father asked, looking directly at my father-in-law. Suit yourself, my father-in-law retorted. It's no use trying to force me into mutual collapse. He yelled these final words and stormed off. My mother-in-law turned to me and sneered, You useless wife. Don't bother coming back. I was left in a daze. Is everything all right, Sakura? My father asked with concern. What should I do, Dad? I asked, feeling completely lost. He said so many hurtful things. Wouldn't it be better to get a divorce? Dad suggested. Yeah, I guess so. I replied reluctantly. But I hoped Hiroshi might come for me. The most important thing was for Hiroshi to love me, even if his parents didn't. But Hiroshi never came, no matter how long I waited. After a few days, I finally received a message from him. Just 3 words. Let's get divorced. I couldn't believe it. I kept sending messages to Hiroshi, but he never responded. Then Hiroshi's lawyer called me. Hiroshi's parents have convinced him to divorce you, he informed me. I couldn't say anything. I agreed to the divorce, accepting the alimony and other conditions Hiroshi offered. Thus, my marriage that lasted less than a year came to an end. At the same time, my father's construction company also closed its doors. But it didn't stop completely. My brother took over Dad's construction company. Same location, same name, but he cut all ties with Hiroshi's family business. Naturally, this hit Hiroshi's family hard. They had other clients and managed somehow, but they weren't safe. Especially since my return became big gossip around town. Gradually, Hiroshi's family began being avoided. More and more requests went to the electrician company my brother partnered with. This continued until rumors spread that Hiroshi's business was going under. This will teach them a lesson, my father said one day, satisfied. Mom and I thought so too. But then the situation suddenly changed. It was the summer of the following year. I was in my brother's construction company office when we got a phone call. "Excuse me, the air conditioner seems to have broken down," said someone whose house my brother had remodeled. When my brother went to check, he found the outdoor unit completely destroyed. "That's terrible, even for a prank," my brother muttered. He consulted with the family and immediately reported it to the police. Then he contacted his electrician partner and had the air conditioner replaced. But this wasn't an isolated case. The same thing kept happening. My brother's construction company alone couldn't handle the situation. The affected people reluctantly asked Hiroshi's family for help. "We're receiving more and more similar requests, so the fee will be charged at a premium," my ex-father-in-law announced with a grin. "Is that okay with you?" he asked one of the affected clients. "The number of people in need is increasing," he added, justifying the premium charge. It was unacceptable to charge extra for repairs just because demand was rising. I was furious, but it had nothing to do with me. There was nothing I could do. But my brother was different. "I'll find the culprit," he declared, asking for cooperation from several clients. I wondered what he was planning. What he did was very simple. He lent them intercoms for free. "Why intercoms?" I asked, puzzled. "Intercoms nowadays have video recording functions. Some have sensors, so they can be used as security cameras," he explained. "I don't think it'll be that easy," I said skeptically. But within 3 days, the culprits were caught. And it was Hiroshi's parents who were arrested. They had broken into houses in the middle of the night, destroying air conditioners to create work for themselves. They'd lost so many clients. This was their desperate solution. When questioned by police, they confessed to these selfish motives. I was reminded of the term mutual collapse. If my father quit the construction business, Hiroshi's business would be in jeopardy. Maybe my ex-father-in-law knew this and used that term deliberately. Anyway, the arrest of my in-laws triggered the complete collapse of Hiroshi's family's electronics shop. Apparently, Hiroshi now works at a demolition job site to pay for the damages. One of the electricians at my brother's construction company told me he saw him there. But I don't care. I sympathize with him, but I don't want to get involved anymore. Besides, I'm happy now. I work as a graphic designer and also help manage the store at my brother's construction company. I can work at my own pace. And best of all, I don't have nagging in-laws. There's only one problem. My father is retired and keeps asking, "Are you tired? Are you okay?" He's always around, talking to me. "If you're so bored, why don't you get a job too? I think it's cooler to have a working dad," I teased. As soon as I said that, my father started working again at my brother's construction company. It seems my father really does love me after all. But I love my father too, so we're even.